This capacity building project developed from a 2013 meeting in Aruba, where the Dutch Caribbean islands met to discuss how the needs they had as it related to safeguarding their heritage and in implementing the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Heritage. So through a dedicated contribution of the government of the Netherlands to the Intangible Cultural Heritage Fund, this two-year project, 2 year in its first instance, it started in May 2014, and the first phase went until July 2016. From this capacity building project, we've had numerous activities, and these activities have sought to build the national capacities as it relates to inventorying national intangible heritage, safeguarding heritage, and in bringing communities, local communities and other stakeholders more involved in the implementation of the convention, and youth as well, which is a very important component. So we had activities related to the implementation of the convention, which was a joint training in St. Martin. We had training on community-based inventory, the theoretical and practical aspects of it. And each island at the same time had their own field exercise where they got to focus on an intangible element and how to go about documenting it and working with local communities for this. So we had training in that sense provided to these islands. We also had Suriname, which was involved in this project. And Suriname has not ratified the convention as yet, but they have taken steps to do so. And they also had a similar training as well, and they also did their field exercise on Koto, which is their national dress. We've had very good successes in this project. We've had some challenges as it relates to human resources available on the different islands. But we can say that the cooperation for the project through the project has really it has greatly enhanced how the convention is implemented in the various territories, and islands are sharing with each other and helping to build the capacities for each other. What's also good is that all the islands and Suriname, they have all have draft national inventories in some stage or the other, and we're looking forward to further development in these areas.
This project has laid a pathway for Suriname in documenting and safeguarding the ICH of Suriname. It also has enhanced dialogue between all the territories involved, mutual understanding and respect for each other's intangible cultural heritage.
Well, the program gives Suriname opportunities to meet with other Dutch Caribbean islands and also to share our experiences, and it opens a pathway for collaboration with everybody, so that's something we like to carry on. And also Suriname has started to ratify the convention, so when it will be finalized, we are hoping to put our inventories on the lists.
This project has meant a lot for St. Martin, in the sense that we were able to start the process of documenting our intangible cultural heritage. And it came at a very pivotal time when St. Martin is going through various changes and transformations, especially with the tourism aspect and with the new generation coming of age. So it's important that we bridge those edges and start the process of documenting what is our intangible cultural heritage, what it was before, what it is now. And it's important for them to know, meaning the younger generation and the older generation, to transmit that information to them. So by having this project, we were able to have our first draft intangible cultural heritage for list inventory for St. Martin. We were also able to start the discussion with the practitioners and the knowledge bearers within our community. They were able to share that very important information. And then 3, we were also able to start the process of documenting, recording, and by doing so, we are able to share it with others.
I just want to touch on the impact these workshops has had on myself and the entire St. Martin delegation. You know, they say great minds think alike, and to be invited to a workshop, a week-long workshop where we all interact and exchange information with the different islands, including Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, Statia, Saba, and Suriname, it's priceless. We've experienced such great exercises as well as an educational field trip, and I think we will go back knowing that we will be more confident in finally putting forth nominations as per the UNESCO convention.
It's always a profound journey to be part of these events and these trainings, because at the end of the day, you feel like you walk away with some very tangible tools and some very important skills that you can really effect powerful changes. Because more than doing it for oneself, all of a sudden you really understand the impact you have and the reach. Working with young people on a daily basis, I feel very confident with the acquired skills and knowledge and the tools that we were given at this lecture, the contacts we made, the deepening of the information, not only the deepening but the broadening of it, all the networking. I feel very confident that it helps me to have a very clear picture and more crystallized thoughts about how to bring this information over to the younger generation in a way that they want to be a part of it, as opposed to putting something on them. It's to find a way that they feel that they are part of the process, that they too have something to contribute from their perspective. So going forward, I feel that we've been given some magnificent tools with which to make intangible cultural heritage a fun reality, something that kids can look forward to, not just the children, but our community. At the end of the day, it's a story about us, and if they don't have a sense of buy-in, they're going to be disconnected from the experience. So all of this classes that we've attended, the training, the sessions, the discussions, the field trips, the whole tangible experience helps to make this a much more, profound experience that we can share with others so that they can too connect with what we connect with.
The joint capacity building program for the Dutch Caribbean and Suriname was particularly useful for Curacao in bringing together different activities that we were already doing and kind of structuring them, because several NGOs, community-based organizations, and individuals had been doing excellent work of inventorying, documenting, and even preserving certain practices. And now with this capacity building on safeguarding, those activities are coming together.
Yeah, what this training session has meant for me is it gave me an increased focus on ICH, an increased energy to get things done, and a greater sense of direction, moving towards accomplishment, moving towards completion.
For me, in terms, because this workshop was quite practical, we had a lot of, the first one was theory, this one we had more in tune to do with it, so it gave me a better understanding and it helped me upgrade my skills.
The workshop for me also helped gain my knowledge increase on different techniques, as well as trying more or less to get more elements that will be added to the inventory, and especially documentation is very important towards ICH on my island station.
Like Rian said, we have to work on the national inventory list as soon as possible. For the Aruba National Commission, I think it's in place that we institute a commission from different stakeholders that will carry the intangible cultural heritage on Aruba. I hope that this can be done when we return to Aruba and on our priority list. And then from there we will begin starting with the national inventory list. And maybe sometime ahead we can plan an inventory workshop again to guide these people and doing the best they can.
As an NGO from Aruba, I'm very glad to be invited by UNESCO Aruba to be part of this capacity building for the first time, and it was a big experience, a nice experience also to be here and interchange with the other islands. And just the one particular element that we brought forward, that's about the miniature boat and the philosophy behind that, seems to be something that it is very interesting for other islands, in the sense that we all are an island and we are vanishing our own tradition about sailing and things like that. So it was for me a very fruitful moment to see that happen and see the feedback that I get with the presentation. And now, getting back to Aruba, it is some work to do, but we are as NGO on the right path.
The capacity building program has been a tremendous capacity building activity for the island of Bonaire. Without it, the emphasis on ICH, especially on the level of reporting and also making sure that it's part of the policy plan and getting the due attention of the island governor, that would not have happened. It also has brought the team together, the people working on ICH close together, and the trainings that we have received have been used very well in disseminating the information and also training more people. Bonaire is now using the ICH and UNESCO affairs. When people talk about it, they understand what it is. It is being used also in policy plans for the schools. So it is slowly but surely helping to get the island more aware of the importance of especially not only safeguarding, but being more proud of our elements. And also the training that we have received has given the chance for more people to train in documenting ICH. And this is a tremendous affair because it helps the local NGO of Fujikubo do more work, and we can do more inventorying and documenting of our ICH.
Good afternoon. I am Olga Simmons from the island Saba. I am very happy to be here in this capacity building session convention because for Saba, HIC is very important. Saba is a little 5 square mile island, and being able to preserve our culture is very important. The first time I came to ICH, I learned how to ask the people in the community questions, what they find is important in our island, which elements, and I was very happy to go back to Saba and share this information with the people of Saba. Being a teacher, I was also able to share this information with the children at school. Today, we are here today again, and this time we were speaking about our elements. What I'm going to do now is when I go back to Saba, I'm going to work with Ryan on making our inventory list so that we too, as an island, can send our inventory list to the other islands.
This particular project, ever since I've been associated with it as a facilitator, has been one that I have not only been able to impart some knowledge, but have learned a lot about the potential benefits of cooperation and collaboration. One of the main tenets of the whole capacity building program is really trying to impart the technical skills of how best to safeguard ICH. But in doing so, what we have created are spaces where states, groups, community members can come together and collaborate toward that effort, And it's quite fulfilling to see that over a period of years and through a series of meetings, that those concerted efforts are really have the potential to bear fruit. One of the more long-lasting effects of the process is the Williamstad Declaration, which really speaks to what it is that the Dutch territories in the Caribbean want to achieve in terms of working together and putting forward eventually elements to either the representative or the urgent safeguarding list. But in doing so, through our participation and inclusion of the State Party of Suriname, what has occurred is that there have been really great strides made in towards collaboration. And in our meeting, Suriname has stated that in keeping in accordance with the Williamstad Declaration, they will now try to see how best they can more fulsome and more wholesomely participate in the process, so that there is now going to be certainly the framework for more formal collaboration between Suriname and the Dutch islands in safeguarding ICH. And that is part and part of the overall endgame, the overall results that it is you want to achieve through this capacity building program and exercise. And it is certainly something that should be commended, and certainly something that can be seen as a best practice that comes out of these capacity building programs.
To us, it's not only capacity building, but it all has to do with getting to know much more of each other by exchanging information regarding the traditions that we have in common. So the capacity building project not only we gain knowledge out of it, but brings us together with the Dutch-speaking Caribbean.
I am also working with the islands, St. Martin and St. Eustatius, because we have the Maypole dance in common. We will also like to have an exchange with the other islands. We will be doing the Maypole dance in St. Martin, and the St. Martin group will be doing the Panam in Saba. Also, Statia would like to be on board with us, so we will also make a trip to Statia and share our Maypole dance and the Panam with St. Eustatius.
It's been also wonderful to work with the other islands and with Suriname on good practices that each of us have, and sharing those good practices and seeing that a lot of the things that we were doing and not giving too much thought were useful for others, and then they became more useful for us at the same time. And this particular training session has been especially wonderful for me because of the greater collaboration that is envisioned with Suriname. We have been doing a lot of work among the islands, but the work with Suriname is something that has been lagging. So I'm really happy that this is, it looks like our next step, one of our next steps will be in that direction. And as implementing NGO for Curaçao, the training has also been particularly interesting because it has put us in touch not only with the rest of the Dutch Caribbean and Suriname, but also with the facilitators and their background in terms of institutional development, which is one of the big issues that we have on the islands, the capacity building for institutions.
Implementing this project for a couple of years from now, and now we are actually launching and implementing the second stage of the project, which will end by the mid of the summer. Nevertheless, the efforts to raise capacities in safeguarding of ICH in the Caribbean will have to be continued because well, our office is covering 19 countries and territories, and I don't think we managed to raise the capacities in all of them. But for the Dutch Caribbean and the Suriname, it's a very good chance to go through this exercise, and we already witnessing major changes in understanding of the ICH concept and the spirit of the convention. So we are dealing with good experts, good trainers, and I think we will achieve some good results in the future.
Having been involved with the project since 2014, one of the things that I've found particularly interesting is the fact that the territories themselves have done quite a bit of work in terms of the inventorying and knowledge development, knowledge acquisition of the intangible cultural heritage that exists in the territories. And that has helped to sort of create a natural alignment with the convention. But even with that said, the territories have also recognized that there is a dual process that's involved. That's not only convention driven, but rather driven by the needs of the communities and the need to safeguard the cultural heritage within the communities. And that is also an important thing to consider. While the convention provides a framework and an international mechanism for the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage, there is also the need for perhaps an even greater national initiative for safeguarding cultural heritage outside of the convention. And this is something that I find to be a strength of the territories and the persons who work in culture who have been dedicated to this process over the years. And I suspect that the islands will be a model within a few years. The islands will be a model for the rest of the region in how to move systematically through the implementation and development of the convention, and with respect to safeguarding initiatives, and eventually with respect to being being noted as some of the good practices for safeguarding ICH in the region.
The capacity building project has helped Aruba in the sense that we created closer communication with the islands, with the Dutch Caribbean islands and Suriname with regards to the ICH. Also, it has given us the tools that we need to prepare ourselves better in creating our own inventories and in preparing ourselves for nominating our ICH. We do need to do more work on these areas, especially where inventorying is concerned, and maybe we would need some assistance in national consultations. But other than that, we have gathered plenty of skills in the past couple of years with these workshops to get started with the inventorying procedures.
So going forward, this project ends in a few months, in June 2017, which is this phase 2. And we're hoping that afterwards the islands will be able to start developing their own nominations to the list of the convention. They certainly have the capacities now, having been trained in how to develop nominations and how to develop international assistance requests from this meeting in Bonaire that we're here now. So moving forward, I see great things in store for the Dutch Caribbean islands and for Suriname. And we hope this will result in a greater success with the implementation of the convention in these territories.
Also moving forward, it is the intention with this momentum that we have received from this workshop to continue the process that we have started. Continue the process of ensuring that our inventory list goes through the next phase. We have done the community inventories with the various face-to-face sessions with the different practitioners and cultural, let's say, the persons that ensure that the culture is kept and persevered and carry on to the next generations. So we have held the community inventories. We have done the survey where we were able to get a wider mass of the community of St. Martin to give their input on what their ICH is. Now it's time for us to go back to those individuals after we have gotten and gathered all of this information for them to reconfirm what St. Martin's ICH inventory will be. And thereafter, after we have received their information for the second, third, and fourth time, then we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to take it to the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, and also the Council of Ministers for them to validate that this is what St. Martin, the St. Martin people, have considered to be their ICH. And thereafter, we can officially say St. Martin has its inventory for its intangible cultural heritage.
So in the future, we're going to work hard in Curacao. We're going to work on promoting projects. We're going to involve the community, and we're going to work with more working group on ICH. So the whole community will be involved in ICH matters.
Towards our goals with ICH on Statia is especially having our elements put forward to the national list, because especially Statia, you know, it's rich in ICH, but at least we too want to get some of our elements on the national list.
Well, with regards to the government aspect, we're in moving forward, especially after all this training, we want to put our cultural policy together and ensure that it's finished, at least by the end of this year, and have it go through all the procedures that it needs to go through. And all the other little reports that are attached to it, we plan on finishing all of that all in the same timeline.
Going forward on Statia, we want to finish our Statia string band project and identify the next ICH element to focus on. And what I really would like to have happen is that Statia will have at least one ICH element on the Kingdom inventory within a year from now.
No.